I wish we knew who was the former Tory minister who has spoken off record, I suppose, to the newspapers and said that Lee Anderson's comments about going off to France make the Conservative Party look chaotic and unsophisticated, which puts Rishi in a right mess. Another ex-minister has referred to Mr. Anderson as a fascist who does not represent the same party as me. Well, he does seem to represent the same party as Nigel Farage, who says Lee is reflecting what millions and millions feel. It's just unusual from your deputy chairman of the Conservative Party. Well, deputy chairmen of the Conservative Party have not always been shining saints, have they? We can think of, who is it now? Lord Archer. Wasn't he a deputy chairman of the Conservative Party? Look where he ended up. Charming man. Anyway, Lee Anderson has not only told people to F off back to France, he's also pointed out that the accommodation in Bibby, Stockholm, which has been variously criticised as being smaller than the size of a parking space, and making people feel as if they're in Alcatraz. He says, I have stopped in worse accommodation in Skegness, in Blackpool, in Scarborough, in Whitby, and all around the country. So I'm sure Skegness, Blackpool, Scarborough, and Whitby are only too happy to engage Mr. Anderson's services for their tourist brochures in future. Did I moan? He said. No, I went for a nice weekend, had a lovely time, and didn't complain to anybody. It's like listening to some sort of mafia boss. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of Brian Blessed in I Claudius. Do you remember those wonderful scenes with particularly where I remember there was a scene where somebody came in. And Brian Blessed was really quite nice to them. And then when they left, he said, "Oh, dreadful man, dreadful man." And there was also the wonderful scene with John Hurt. John Hurt. Why does that boy have? Why is that boy always coughing? And Claude said, he's had a very bad cold. And eventually Hurt sends the boy off to be executed to cure him of his cough. All of this sort of reminds me of Lee Anderson, and I think the way I Claudius was finally transferred from the Robert Gray's book to the television script was thinking about the imperial family like a mafia family. And it's very strange. Let me know if you think that Lee Anderson reminds you of something out of The Godfather. It's disturbing.